All right, welcome to another episode of Powerhouse Conversations, brought to you by Dream Big Sports, home of the best podcast for athletes looking to leverage technology to power their brand. This is episode 43, and we have a special guest today, NBA champ. Oh, I just call him champ, right? Because he has a lot of accolades, right? So WNBA champ, most recently, NBA champ, G League champ. So he's a winner at every level. We have Tyler Marsh with us from the Las Vegas Aces. It's going to be a great episode. We want to talk about, what it's like to be a coach at all these different levels. We're going to talk about, what it's like to go through all these different changes and relationships, how you build through relationships. So I think it's going to be a great episode to, for you all to learn and understand, what the grind is like, to move up through the ranks and stay down and do the work that it takes. Tyler, how are you doing today? And first off, I want you all to give a big congratulations to Tyler. Just had his first son and first child. So everybody congratulate him in the comments. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. And, commendable 43 episodes. Like, that's big time. I remember when you first started this, episode 1, and 42 episodes later, like, this is a big time. It's a great platform, dope platform. Everything that you do is on a level that has some outreach. And so I appreciate you having me on, but I appreciate this platform that you have as well for others.
No, I definitely, it's been a long time coming with you coming on. Like, I could definitely call you a friend. We talk all the time about, just sports and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the journey from where you came from and just going through the ranks. So I definitely, I think this was a great conversation I had. It's a long time coming. So, just give people, I know I've already ran down your list of accolades, but give people your background, how you got started, and just take us from there.
Sure. Yeah. I started actually in the G League. Was my first year. I was back in 2012, 2013 season. And the way that I kind of got in the door there was I got invited to a workout, to watch the workout at the Houston Rockets facility. And I applied to a bunch of different internships with the Rockets going into that summer and hadn't really heard back from anything. And so when I went to the workout, I kind of just asked around about the position I applied for and if they filled it, and they said that they had, but that they may have something with their G League team available. And so they introduced me to their head G League coach at the time, which was Nick Nurse, head coach of the Toronto Raptors now. And I met Coach Nurse. He invited me back to help out with the workouts for the rest of the week. And after the first day, he told me he had a player development spot available and that he liked what I did in the workouts and that he wanted to bring me on. And so that was kind of how I got my foot in the door from a professional basketball stance. And I've been kind of just running with it since. There's been a lot of ups and downs along the way. We won a championship that first year in the G League, and shortly after he got called up to the Raptors as an assistant coach. So I spent 3 more years in the G League coaching. I spent a year coaching at the prep school level in Charlotte, North Carolina. Coached a year in Division I at Alabama A&M. And then fast forward 6 years later, from that first year in the G League to 2018-2019 season, and Coach Nurse reached back out and said that he had a video coordinating spot with the Raptors available once he got the head coaching job. And having that prior relationship with him, I knew I had some familiarity with the way that he wanted to do things and run things and that kind of stuff. And so I had minimal video experience when I took that job, but I spent, once I knew that it was heading in that direction, I spent weeks trying to coordinate with other video coordinators that I had relationships with throughout my time in the G League. And I would fly and see them. I would have Zoom calls or Skype calls at the time with them. And so I tried to learn it on the fly, and ended up winning a championship that first year in the NBA. And then the rest is kind of history from there. I spent 2 years with the Raptors and then 2 years with the Indiana Pacers before coming here with the Aces. And so I've been blessed to be around great players and great coaches and great opportunities and situations with organizations that really take winning, but doing things the right way seriously. And so that's kind of how my journey has been.
No, because I think that's a testament to, like, your work ethic, and I think that's a testament to your character, right? That, it's no coincidence that, there's winning follows, right? And they're calling you when they want to, build a winning team. And so even from the standpoint of, because I remember when you had to go straight from the end of that season with the Pacers and go right into the WNBA, but it's like, okay, they called you because of your work ethic and what you brought to the table. And
Sure.
I'm pretty sure that when Becky was thinking about who she wanted, it was you, because, hey, you are going to be someone who I can build a winning team around. So I definitely think that's something that people should take notice of.
Sure. And I think that just more than anything is just a testament of character. And I think that, I'm try to stay as grounded as possible from how I was brought up and how I was raised, and being able to see my dad, who's also a basketball coach, being able to see how he works. My entire life growing up certainly helped shape the type of worker I am and the type of person that I am. And so we actually, the way I got introduced to Becky was one of our assistants with Indiana. Her name is Jenny Buchek. She was a longtime WNBA coach and now has been in the NBA for a while. And she has a really good relationship with Becky, and she introduced me to her just kind of on a whim, just good people meeting other good people and continuing to network and build relationships. And my first meeting with Becky, we didn't talk anything about basketball. It was more about life, and that's kind of where the connection and relationship started. And that was this past season. We played the Spurs, I think, early in the year, around December was when I first met her. And once things started to get rolling on her end with Vegas, she reached out and asked if I had any interest in it. And I told her I did, just because that I knew that it would be a good step in my career from a basketball standpoint, but most importantly, I couldn't ignore the chemistry and the connection that we had on a personal level, Becky and I. And you don't get a chance too often to work with people that you see things similarly off the court, that you have the same values. And so that meant a lot to me. And then the more we started talking about the opportunity of what the basketball side of it brought, in terms of where I was in my career as well, I just thought it was the right situation, and thought that it was an opportunity to be part of something bigger than myself, to be part of something honestly bigger than basketball. It's the W is something that's it's a great league, and it's a continuously growing league, and to help be part of the growth of the league. That's something that's gonna last a lifetime.
Yep, and let's talk about that. I mean, that was one of the things that we talked about when you were making the decision, was like just the growth and the trajectory of the WNBA, right? The opportunity that you had within you to go over there and make some change and make some impact. And one of the things we talked about was that it's, the impact that you can make there is like, it's almost a once in a lifetime opportunity, right? It's not going to come around again. Like, years later, you're basically on the cups of, hey, this is about to take off. You can be a part of this ride, or you can miss out on the train. So I think that was a very bold move for you to make.
Sure. Yeah. I always, when I deal with those types of decisions and any big decision in life, I try to think about what, first of all, I'm a man of faith, so I try to rely on God, and my family and I, we pray for those types of moments where we can get clarity and understanding and what our purpose is. And that's the big thing. I want to be purposeful. And the NBA is a dream, and it was a dream and a goal. And being there becomes more about being in a place where you can have the most impact. And being in Vegas was where I saw that I could have an impact. And, I think that I look a few months later down the road, and, there's no other place I'd rather be right now. So.
Yep. So talk to me a little bit about, some of the things that you saw that you liked coming from the NBA to the WNBA. Talk to me about what you like that you see going in the right direction for the WNBA.
I think style of play is something that we were able to incorporate as a team. Just our staff is made up of So really dynamic coaches with different experience. We have longtime Division I college coaches, head coach and assistant coaches. We have myself and another assistant, Natalie Nakasi, both have a ton of NBA experience, and Becky is her playing experience in the W and her coaching experience in the NBA. So we're able to see the game through a lens that a lot of other staffs don't really have that type of diversity on. And it's no knock to them. It's just it's to us, we see it as an advantage for what we have and how we're trying to build things. And I think the style of play that, looking over the past several years, the Aces have had a ton of talent. They've had a few number one draft picks, and Kelsey Plum and Jackie Young and Asia Wilson. So the pieces were already there. It was just a matter of how we're going to place them. And so I think across the league, the style of play is going to be trending more towards a more free-flowing, open style of play. And I think that's kind of what we were able to incorporate this year. And I think that the other thing is I would hope that the personalities of the players get highlighted a little bit more. I think you're able to see just how dynamic of people they are, how great of people they are, and quite frankly, they're superstars and deserve the platform to be superstars. So that's kind of how I see it.
No, I think that's a great point, because I take two things away from that, right? I think when you talk about the ability to watch the game, I think that's where that's where the WNBA is going to get the eyes and the attention, is because when you allow, because you have great basketball, right? But then also when you allow those players to shine and showcase their skill set, I think that's a good opportunity to bring in new viewers. My favorite player right now is Kelsey. I watched her when she was in college, and that's I think when you all are allowing them to play and utilize their skill set, like Kelsey's going to go out there and cook, right? And so and I think that is something that the WNBA, when they are able to see these players just go out there and utilize their skill sets, hey, they can hoop too, like, right? It's not like they may not be able to dunk and quote unquote dunk like the NBA, but it's still like when you're a basketball fan, the hooping is the hooping. Like when you watch Kelsey play, when you watch Jackie play, when you watch the Chelsea play, like if you're a hooper, you understand that. Like you understand that, and then you see Asia with her fundamentals and the way she can score with both hands, like she can do everything, right? Yep. That is a recipe for if you're a basketball head, you can see that, and you're gonna gravitate towards it. So
yeah,
I think that's.
And you mentioned it. I think another element to that is you want to get the league to a point where you don't just have to be a basketball fan to watch. And I think that's how the NBA is. If you're, it almost becomes a little bit more of an experience than just being there to watch a game. And if you're able to come to an Aces game, you will see that like our atmosphere is just as good as any NBA atmosphere there is. Yep. And you go to Seattle, you get the same thing. You go to Phoenix, you get the same thing. Yep. You get sold out crowds. You get NBA-like environments. Yep. And you get elite basketball. And so I think that the more publicized our game gets, the more eyes on it, and then the more support that we continue to get from those who are outside, from the big names. You see Chris Paul and DeMarcus Cousins and Devin Booker and Trae Young and Kyle Lowry, Ja Morant, all of them are at these games throughout their off season, taking the time out to fly out to these games like that. That should say something. So I think it's only going to continue to go up and get better, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I think that speaks volumes, right? And I like when you all came to Atlanta, like the atmosphere that was there was like crazy, right? So when you go to a Hawks game, it's just it's people there, right? But I think the Atlanta Dream were able to capitalize on, like, Atlanta is a black city, right? And I think they really treated that game like, okay, it felt like, okay, I'm in Atlanta, not, the Atlanta Hawks is like,
Yes.
okay, it's just a big NBA game.
Sure.
But it was the crowd control. They were swag surfing in there. Like it was like it was a black atmosphere. So I think that the WNBA it allows people to really get that experience. And I think the more that they capitalize on that, I think the better.
No doubt. Yep, I agree.
And so talk to me a little bit about some of the things that I know we kind of hit on it, but some of the things that you think can improve, right? Where is that? What takes the WNBA to the next level?
I think that I don't have the exact answer to that, but I think that it starts at continuing to find ways to allow the players to be marketable because they are marketable. Yep. And I just think that finding ways to be able to do that and on a level and on a platform that that a bunch of eyes are able to see it. I think it starts there. I think we have a product that's appealing and that we have players who have name recognition and value in their brand. And so being able to try to capitalize on that, like at this point, if you haven't seen like Asia Wilson all over the social media for her post-game press conferences and the way that she impacts the community, the things that she's doing within her community, those are all things that can be highlighted and should be highlighted. And especially if you're the face of the league, you got to allow your stars to be stars. And so that's kind of where I think it starts at.
Yeah. Just like capitalizing on that, right? Like, Asia, she shined bright like a star over this time frame. Like it was very clear, like that she has a star personality. She's a star on the court, and she should be put on that pedestal, on that platform, the same way that the NBA guys are put on. And because she has the game and she has the personality, so why wouldn't she? Why wouldn't the brands come after her and put her in front of everybody because she has that? She's a star, and it's very clear.
Yep, there's not too many people that can. I mean, we had three just on our own team with Kelsey, Chelsea, and Asia who go right from our season. They take a day going to the parade. They leave pretty much right after the parade, go straight to Australia, get off the plane, win a gold medal, like.
Right.
And then a couple of them are like Chelsea. She'll have a couple weeks, and then she's heading overseas for her season. Like they're athletes of a different breed, of a different kind, and they are subject to some circumstances that a lot of NBA superstars aren't. And they still take the baton and run with it without complaints. And it's tough to do. And so it should be commended and it should be highlighted for sure.
It's amazing because when you really think about it, like, okay, we're fathers, right? But they also are, a lot of them are mothers. I saw that I think it was Derica. Yeah, she announced that she was pregnant. It's like, man, it's like amazing, like what they're doing. Like it's like I couldn't imagine, like hooping and playing and and being pregnant or like it's something that they definitely should get behind, and I understand that there are that it takes time, right? But that is something that I think brands should definitely pay attention to. I think that they should definitely get behind. I think one thing I did find interesting, I was at the Revolt Summit this couple past weekends ago, and they actually you mentioned it earlier. The NBA players are doing a great job of supporting. And I think the biggest thing is that more women who aren't NBA people have to support and bring their family out and support. So I think that's something that definitely has to get addressed.
Yeah, agreed.
So I do want to change paces and go to. I know one of the things that we talked about was you want to build a platform that tells the stories of coaches, right? I know your background. You talked about it earlier. I know I met your dad probably I think before I met you, like and just his work ethic, his attention to detail, him and Coach Davis, like the way they ran their program at UAB, and the way that they put their program together, and the attention to detail. I know that that's something that was instilled in you. So did you always want to be a coach?
I didn't. At first I thought that I was going to be in the front office of an NBA team. I was even open to be in the front office of a Major League Baseball team. The idea of, I'm a huge baseball fan, and the idea of building a team and everything that goes into putting a team together is something that's always appealed to me. But I also saw the immediate and long-term impact that my dad had as a coach on players that he continually has relationships with to this day. And I thought that coaching blended best my two passions, which is people and basketball, and having a hands-on approach with them, whether it's in player development, whether on the court, whether it's in film study, whether it's just having casual conversation. It's you have a reach and a platform that not too many people get to have, and to be able to touch these players each day in a way that would have long-lasting impact that extends beyond basketball. That's something that keeps me motivated, and something that keeps me into coaching and continues to fuel that passion that I have. And it's no different whether it was at the high school level, the college level, G League, NBA, and now WNBA. It's impact is impact, and you can make that wherever. And that's I think it's something also that the players in turn appreciate. They don't want to just be seen as athletes, especially as the day and age that we're in now. They want to be seen as more than that, and they should be. And so that's what keeps me into coaching, and hopefully what keeps me moving forward.
Yep. So let's talk about the platform that you want to build. Like tell me about some of the ideas, and tell me about what do you want to do with this?
Yeah, it's basically there's becoming more and more as you see like athletes getting involved in the media space and creating platforms to tell their own stories. I would like to do so the same for coaches. I think there's coaches are great storytellers. They're great teachers, and they have their own experiences that deserve to be heard. And so it's been on my mind for a while to kind of try to create that space and that platform for coaches to tell their own stories in their own kind of way. And so trying to put that into motion, I think it would be enlightening for young coaches, young aspiring coaches, even coaches who are vets in the game. I think that you can always learn from others, and I'm a big believer in not underestimating when and who you can learn something from, and whether it's about basketball or whether it's about life. It's these players that we idolize and coach and teach and admire on TV, they all were grounded by some and shaped by some form of coach, and so to hear those stories, I think would be beneficial. Would be really cool.
No, I think it would be extremely beneficial, because, like you just said, like you idolize the player, but there is somebody in their playing career that has meant a big deal to them that they don't get to shine, right? Everybody knows about the Phil Jacksons, the Popoviches, and things of that nature, but it's typically, an assistant coach that has a great relationship, or it's, somebody on the staff that has this great relationship that they typically lean on, and they confide in, and they utilize to get to their level of greatness. So I think telling those stories and being able to shed light and put a spotlight on them when they don't necessarily always get that spotlight is extremely important, and it's extremely important to also, like you just said, to the young coaches that are going to be seeing this and be like, okay, I can do this. I can, I can make an impact, right? Everybody, just because I'm not on the stage, I'm not in the spotlight, I can make an impact.
No doubt, and I think that, for just me personally, my three biggest role models in life were all coaches. My dad was a coach. There's a pastor who's one of my mentors, been a mentor since 2015, and he's a retired coach. And my high school coach, he was my best man in my wedding. So I met him when I was 15, and you fast forward 15 years later, he's the best man in my wedding. So that's the kind of long-lasting impact that I referenced earlier. And so I think there's a bunch of great stories to be told and experiences to be shared. And if I can help provide a platform to do so, that's what I want to do.
No, I think that's amazing, and I can't wait to see that get off the ground, and I can't wait for the world to see it and be able to be able to have impact on it. So I have some rapid fire questions. I probably know some of the answers to some of these, but we'll get it started. Favorite player growing up?
Favorite player growing up? That's an easy. Gave me an easy one to start. Stephon Marbury. Favorite player. He followed me on Twitter 2 years ago. I almost cried. He's that's my guy. My first time seeing him, he was a freshman at Georgia Tech. My dad was coaching at Florida State at the time. Both teams in the ACC. I was a ball boy for Florida State. And at that time in the ACC, the mid-'90s, like Maryland had Steve Francis and Duke had Shane Battier and Nelson Brand and Corey Maggette and all those guys. And Wake had Tim Duncan. Carolina had Vince and Antoine Jameson, like all those big name players. But like when Georgia Tech came through, and the first time I saw Stephon Marbury, it was like, that's it.
Yeah, the ACC was loaded in. ACC was definitely loaded.
Yeah, so that would be it, and Kobe would be a close second.
Yeah. Your Mount Rushmore of NBA players.
Well, I think I would say Bill Russell. Not that I saw him play, but his impact is undeniable.
Okay.
I would say Mike.
Okay.
Kobe.
Okay.
And LeBron.
Okay, that's what I was wondering if you were gonna leave him off. I was wondering if you was gonna leave him off.
Nah, I'm not I'm a fan, but I'm not a fool. So I think that it's different. I just remember seeing Mike, seeing Kobe, and seeing LeBron for the first time, and they all gave a different type of feeling. It's like you're watching something more than just a basketball player.
Yeah.
When you watched each one of them. It was like when you watch LeBron, it's like you're in awe from his physical gifts and how easy he makes the game look. And then Kobe was like you couldn't take your eyes off of him because he was just everything he did was like he is what a prototypical basketball player looks like.
Right.
Just
if you were to construct the perfect basketball player, it was Kobe.
And then Mike was it was the legend and figure of who Mike was. Like when he was in his heyday with the Bulls, I was still young. But so when my first time actually seeing him in person was the year that he was with the Wizards. And so even at 30, 38, 39, whatever he was, 40, it was still like, that's still Mike at the end of the day.
Right. It's still Mike.
Right. And so that was it's like you're watching a mythical figure at the time. So that would be my Mount Rushmore for different reasons.
Cool. I like it. I can't be mad at it. I was going to ask favorite coach, but would you prefer to be able to give me a Mount Rushmore of coaches, or do you have a locked in one coach?
I can give you a few coaches that I like.
Okay, give me
for different reasons. I'll start with the coaches that I worked for. I think that Coach Nurse is because he's not he doesn't have the big name. I think that he kind of gets underrated a little bit. But he's the best coach I've ever been around in terms of adjustments on the fly. he's not afraid to take chances. I think for those who watched closely at our championship run in 2018, like, we threw everything at Golden State. We threw triangle and twos, we threw box and ones.
I remember.
And up to that point, a lot of that stuff wasn't really seen that often, that much. And we experimented throughout the season and felt like we were in a place that would been that we felt comfortable with using that in those moments. And so from a adjustment standpoint, he's right there. Coach Carlisle, another championship coach, he is really good at figuring out ways to attack offense or defenses, opposing defenses. He's really good at exploiting mismatches. And so from X's and O's standpoint, he's second to none. He's great. I'm always been a huge fan of Eric Spoelstra. The way that no matter what the records are that his Heat teams have had, whether it was during the LeBron era, pre-LeBron, post-LeBron, like, his teams play hard all the time. It's never an easy game against the Heat, and so the way that he's able to get those personalities to fit in and to buy in into to what that quote unquote Heat culture is, you know that it's led by or that's started by Pat Riley, but it ultimately is on Spoelstra to carry out, and for him to have done it so long with 3 championships later. You know, that's commendable in itself. And so, and then there's other coaches around the league who do amazing things. Ty Lue is awesome. Monty Williams is awesome. Pop obviously is awesome. And then I wouldn't really be who I am or where I am if it wasn't for Coach Hammond. So, like, she is. I've said it a bunch throughout the season. Like, her ability to connect with the players, and that's not just our players. That was players that she coached. That she coached in the NBA. You see the relationships that she was able to establish there. The way that she's able to bring people together and be relatable, and then transfer that out onto the court. She's at the top of the league in that standpoint at any league, and I think that as a coach, you have to have a great ability to know when to turn up and when to level it out, and she has a great feel for that as well. So that's kind of where it is.
No, I love it. And even just to go back to Spo, like, I think Spo is like, because even you, like I said, we talk about the season and, you know, what our thoughts are on the season. It's like you can never count out Miami. It's like, okay, well, you got these teams, and then it's like, okay, well, you can't count out Miami, but you kind of want to, but it's like, you know, they're going to come with it, right? Regardless of who it is. I was just talking about this morning with someone else, but it's like, you know, regardless of how the standings end this year, whoever gets Miami in the first round, I'm concerned. Like, I don't like, it's not going to be an easy out, like, regardless of where they finish. That's what you want from a coach, right? You want that fear, that like that ability to it's like a brand, right? It's a you know, it's like building your personal brand. Like, I know a coach team by Spoelstra is going to make me work, and that's what you want as a coach. You want that no matter who's on the floor, that this team is not going to be easy out. Every night that you get on the floor is not going to be something. I would imagine that's the type of fear that you want to strike in opposing players or opposing coaches every time you step on the floor.
Yeah, I think it's it's an environment that's established by the coach, and then it has to be carried out by the players. And Miami does a good job as anyone at identifying those players and getting them to buy in. And, you know, a lot of people, you know, may question why Udonis Haslem is still in his 20th year on the Heat, and that's why. He's somebody that can continue to enforce that brand and that culture the way that they want it. And opinions may vary, but there's value in that. and
Yeah.
they have found that value. And so when you have players like D Wade to help start that, and then have it
Mm-hmm.
being continued by Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry, and moving into the future with Bam Adebayo, like
Mm-hmm.
all those embrace what the Heat are about,
Mm-hmm.
and are able to push their agenda forward.
Yeah, I think that's extremely underrated. Like culture, I think people overlook that. You have to establish culture. You have to get people to buy. You have to get the players to buy into culture. That goes for business as well. Like anytime that you're building something, you're building an organization. Because I mean, these organizations are ran like businesses, and that comes from the top down. And you have to establish that culture, and everybody from the top to the bottom has to understand, hey, this is what this is about, and this is how we're going to run our organizations.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's big.
Yeah.
Let's go to WNBA. You don't have to go top favorite top your top 5 favorite WNBA players just ever. Like,
I think Cynthia Cooper would be one.
okay.
Dawn Staley would be one.
Okay.
Um, I think that for me, like Cheryl Swoops would be another, just because like it's hard to mention Cynthia Cooper and not mention
Yeah,
Cheryl
yeah.
Swoops.
They can
So
get one spot if you want.
I'm sorry.
I said they can get one spot if you want it. They can get a dynamic duo because they were getting busy together.
Right. And then I'll be biased and I'll finish out with aces. I'll finish out with Asia, and we'll give Chelsea Gray and Kelsey Plum and Jackie will give them all one. Jackie Young will give them all one spot.
Love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Nah, but man, bro, I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on, and we're gonna wrap up. Tell the people what's next. Like you accomplished. You accomplished a lot from a coach's perspective. What's your goals? What's next for Tyler?
Yeah, I'm riding the wave right now. I ultimately want to be a head coach. If I look 15, 20 at the end of my career, I'd like to transition into the front office at some point. But I think I'm on a pretty good path to continue to learn and to grow as a coach, and hopefully get to have a seat in the main chair at one day. And I want to be in a position of leadership. I feel like I have a pretty balanced voice that is able to show compassion but also motivate. And I think that I've been able to take little bits and pieces from some great coaches and feedback from some great players to help form a philosophy that I feel like could be successful down the line. And, when that opportunity, if and when the opportunity comes, I think I'll be ready for it. And that's kind of how I see the immediate future. And, we'll see what that turns into. But until then, I'm trying to be the best dad I can be.
Yep.
We'll see where that goes. I'm trying to speak baseball into his life, into the universe for my son. So, so we'll see. My dad joked yesterday when Aaron Judge hit 62, hit a 62nd homer for the record. My dad was joking and texted me. He was like, "Yeah, he's like, that record's only going to stand for about 20 years until your son gets to the league, and he'll be able to break that." So speaking that into the universe. So we'll see.
That's dope. That's dope. Well, nah, man, I appreciate it. Everybody make sure you all, go on YouTube, go on Spotify, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, Dream Big Sports, and make sure you all go follow Tyler on all the social media platforms. We're definitely trying to make sure that he ramps up his personal brand, make sure he gets out there, because he's definitely going to be a head coach and in the front office one day. we're going to speak that into existence because I know the talent that he is. I know the ability that he has. So we're definitely we're speaking that into existence. And thank you again for coming on.
No, I appreciate you. And again, thanks for this platform. You're doing great things with it. Can't wait to see where else you take it. And looking forward to the next time.
All right. See y'all next week.